Ayukui, Nek now Judge Abby, and I want to say to all the winners to my left, it's very, very impressive, and I am set to steal some of your ideas. And I appreciate that you're sharing them. We, the Yurok, are located in Northern California. We're the largest surviving tribe in California. We lived in villages, and we had village values before the invasion and the invaders came. Now we still live in those villages. They may look a little differently, but basically that's where we still live. It became important to us after we were recognized to form government and to conform and build institutions. But it became equally important that those institutions reflect our values and not the values of the invaders. You know, they have their values and they have a right to them, and I have no quarrel with that. But we had different values. And for the justice system particularly, one of those different values was that we were not going to have justice by strangers. When I went home to be a judge, having served some 20 years in a state court, some of the first things that people said to me was, "How can you be a judge? You know that person." And I'm like, I know all of you. I grew up around here. I've been around here all my life. And remember who we are, because we come from a time and place where our value was the value of the villages. We would not go to perfect strangers and ask them for help. It just wasn't something that we did. So when we set up the court and the institutions, we wanted to really be aware of what our primary values were and are, and you can see those listed. And we're a world renewal people, and that gives us a lot of responsibilities to each other, for each other, and to our environment and all that is in our environment and surrounds our environment. That creates a unique responsibility, and that's what we're trying to do. With the invaders came behaviors we had never seen amongst ourselves. We were not prepared in practice form to deal with those. But we are prepared through our values to deal with that, because we know what is right for us and what is wrong. So when we looked around and we said, okay, we've been doing some things that we need to stop doing, and we need to be well, and we need to be in harmony. And those are the institutions that we've set up. And the court at home operates, and the court employees, if you will, or the people who have come to work at the court, are instructed that it's your obligation to be a member of each tribal member's extended family. And when they come to us, they come to ask for help. You know, sometimes, yes, there's consequences, but I don't think you can threaten and beat and consequence people into changing their behavior. You can't lock them up for 25 years and expect they're going to come out a really better person. I haven't ever seen it work, frankly. So our programs are designed to deal with the issues that have come upon us from the invaders with our value system. We want to make ourselves back to our strength. So when we look at what those values are, we go, okay, what's the practice? And for us, that means most of our hearings are going to be sort of like through a mediation process. And most of our work is going to be through a process of community involvement. And you see photos on the screens now that indicate, you know, basically group efforts and successes for what we've done and for our programs. And one, even with our child support, we're the first tribe to have a child support court. And we wanted that court because we take responsibility for our children, but we also have the ability and capacity to say to each family that's in this position where they've separated, what do you want to give each other? What do you value? And it's not often money. Sometimes it's fish, sometimes it's wood, sometimes it's babysitting, sometimes it's whatever. But we want those families to be able to go forward. So that's how you change practices so that you have the values. That's become very important to us, and when we bring people home out of jail or home from rehab programs, we make a big effort to make sure that the issues they want to address are addressed. We want to protect our victims, and we do, but we also want to say to the person who has been a perpetrator, you need to figure out why you did this, where this behavior came from, and how to be done with it. This is not who we are, this is not who you are. And you need to awaken the real you inside you, and we'll help you do that. So those programs are what we do. And when you're done with the court, you're not really done, because you can come back at any time and ask for help. Don't wait. If you need it, come and ask, because we all are essentially in the same family. And that makes us stronger. We're trying to get our approach out across the country, because I think, as we urge our children to go out and educate themselves, which I do, and I know all of you do, it's really important to realize that you have to take some of it and leave some of it. And that's what I meant by saying we're not going to have justice by strangers. It's not who we are. But I did learn a lot of things. Well, I wasn't a great student, but I did learn some things. Maybe a lot might be an overstatement. But you do get the value of it, and you get the value of how to do relationships. And we have listed on the board now is some of that. And one of our biggest accomplishments is the first joint dependency court, I think, in the country, where I sit with a state court judge, and we work with our Indian Child Welfare Act cases who elect to go into that court. And part of getting into that court is you get to keep your children, but you have to comply with all the service requirements, and we meet them every 2 weeks. So we're very pleased with that. I appreciate your time and attention to this. I appreciate Harvard's efforts for all of us, and I really want one of those dogs that can jump 8 feet high.